The best press conference I have ever seen in my entire life. Thank you, Sean Strickland, for existing as a person. He just made this press conference the greatest of all time in the UFC. He should be paid a 50k bonus. I saw a comment saying that, and I completely agree with it. I have notes on my screen right now that I'm going to read as I'm doing this reaction, because there were so many great Sean Strickland moments. I loved every single second of this. There were some boring moments, of course, like asking Robbie Lawler, and he's obviously going to give a generic answer, and even Sean O'Malley just seemed boring in comparison to Sean Strickland. In a battle of the Seans, Sean Strickland's personality shone through way more than Sean O'Malley's did. He's amazing. I really badly want him to beat Pereira now. Listen, I understand the narrative of Pereira beating Strickland and him fighting Israel Adesanya in a trilogy would be amazing, but I really want to see Sean Strickland at a press conference again against Israel Adesanya, because I don't know about you guys, but he literally publicly humiliated Israel Adesanya at that press conference. Listen, they're not going to post what really happened, because some of the stuff that Strickland said just can't be on their Instagrams and stuff like that, and can't be posted on social media, but we all know what happened. Sean Strickland humiliated Israel Adesanya. People didn't really know him in the crowd when he first got up on stage, but when he started talking and dishing back some insults at Israel Adesanya and insulting Israel Adesanya, Izzy had no idea. It really bugged him. Dude, I'm worried for Izzy tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow on Saturday. I'm actually kind of worried that maybe he'll be all emotional and lose, but we're going to go through some of the key moments of this press conference, because Sean Strickland just had nothing but great lines, and I loved it because you could see it coming every time. He'd start his response by and I'm so glad the media asked a lot of questions to Sean Strickland. They knew the mission, and they delivered massively. One question for Munoz, one question or two for Barberena, one for Lawler. Keep it on Strickland. We could have done with less Cannonier questions because he's so basic, but either way, he started off all calm, and then eventually he'd start standing up, and you're like, oh god, here we go, what's he gonna say? He had so many lines on Israel Adesanya. He was saying, like, get him, Alex, and all this type of stuff when he was up on his feet. It was so good, man. Israel Adesanya would, like, clap back with some lines like, have you watched the fight? Have you watched the fight? Do something about it. I'll break a nail on your face. And then Sean Strickland would be like, all right, man, fucking hell, man, don't break a nail. Fucking competing with me here. And he exposed Israel Adesanya's cartoon porn addiction, and Israel confirmed it on stage, and it was like the crowd was like, oh, hang on a second here, what the fuck is he why is he admitting to this on stage? Like, Israel watches cartoon porn, I guess. And Strickland was right the whole time, and he kept grilling him on that, like, what about, no man who watches cartoon porn is gonna beat me. No man who beats off the cartoon porn is gonna beat me. And then Israel Adesanya had a really good comeback of, it's hentai. Really good comeback of Israel Adesanya there, man. I loved this so much. I loved it. I want to see Strickland at every press conference. He doesn't even have to be fighting. Chuck him in there. Chuck him in there. If McGregor comes back against Masvidal, I want McGregor on stage, Masvidal on stage. Sean Strickland hosts. That's what I want to see. No more John Anik. Strickland is hosting every press conference from now on. Oh my god, dude. Izzy was saying, you're going to get beaten by Pereira on this weekend and all this, and then he was saying, why don't you tell me what not to do? Should I take a nap in the fight like you? And all this type of stuff. And he was calling out the crowd as well. He was saying stuff like, I hate all you bastards in the crowd, and you guys are a bunch of fucking animals. I'd fucking catch a murder charge if I was out there with you right now. And he also said some fat guy was in the crowd mouthing off to him, I guess. And he said, I bet you got a real big truck with a dick this small, and all that. Like, it was so good. I've never seen it. They're never going to show any of those clips. One, because it makes Adesanya look terrible, because he just got out-personalitied beyond belief in that press conference. You only really know where people stand in terms of how good they are at something when they're compared against others. And Izzy's comebacks were just so weak and generic and scripted, like, I'll break a nail on your face, do something about it. And Strickland's just like, oh god, wow, grown-ass man on TikTok. Israel Adesanya said, I'll knock you out and do a TikTok dance on you. It was such a difference. Strickland is so genuine and funny in the moment to clap back with those insults. And then Israel Adesanya is so like forced and uncool and scripted and like just apply something to like a trendy thing right now of TikTok, and I'll do a TikTok dance on you once I end you in the cage. And Strickland was like, grown ass man on TikTok, you know, don't break a nail. And he said, I'll break a nail on your face. Alex, go get him, Alex. I can't believe that fucking. I don't even believe that happened. That just happened. Get him, Alex! Get him! No one else would do that. No, and Alex is probably sitting there not speaking English like, tutto bene, Charles Oliveira, the Bronx, you know? And I'm like, he doesn't understand what's going on. And he's just sitting there like, what, is this guy shit talking me? Or what? Why is he standing up all the time? He probably knew he was roasting Israel Adesanya when he started pointing at the two of them and making the connection there, but I loved every second of that. He was talking about how America, you know, you can show like someone getting popped in the head on TV, but you can't swear, and how terrible that is. And he had a let's go Brandon moment and got the crowd involved with that as well. And that was quite good. And he also said, if he becomes champion, he's going to trade his Nissan for a Porsche. And then like, shout out Nissan, by the way, if anyone wants to sponsor me and all that. Like, he has all good, natural personality, one-liners in between everything, you know? Like, he's just normal. Not normal, but he's just funny. He's a naturally funny guy. It wasn't like Covington reading out. He's better than McGregor. He's better than Covington. He's better than everyone at press conferences. Everyone else has some kind of scripted line, and you can tell it's scripted, and I've not even noticed it until now, but I even thought Izzy was not bad at press conferences. I was saying before this on my stream, like, you know, you've got Izzy there, O'Malley there, Strickland there. This can't fail. But Izzy and O'Malley look like personality-less weirdos compared to Strickland up there. It was a perfect press conference. He said, maybe I'll get a Nissan for a Porsche, and hey, maybe, man, I'll change my hair and get some gay French frosted tips, wear sunglasses indoors and dress like a woman. And he's clearly fucking talking about Israel Adesanya, who was bugged by that again. No man who beats off the cartoons will ever beat me. Get him, Alex! Oh, that was so good, man. That was so good. I don't even mean to be massively against Adesanya, but dude, he got publicly humiliated. And I'm worried that maybe he'll lose tomorrow. Or, again, the weekend. I can't even focus right now. I'm worried he's going to lose this weekend now, because that must have... You know how much Izzy desperately cares about being liked by everyone. That's his whole thing. He needs to be accepted and liked and popular. Like, that's his whole personality trait is, please let me be popular. And for him to be roasted and humiliated, and people in the crowd are pro Izzy. They were booing, like, Pereira when he came out. Like, they're pro Holloway. They were booing Volk when he came out. Strickland got a couple of cheers here and there from some people that might have understood who he was. But none of them really knew him. And Izzy's, like, the fan favourite. And they're all, like, laughing hysterically at Strickland's clapbacks at Izzy. And Izzy's just, like, saying his stuff and getting a little bit of a cheer. And it was just, like... I think that must have really rattled Israel Adesanya. He mentioned the gyno. He said he doesn't think he's on roids, but I know he's watching cartoon porn. It's hentai. It's called hentai. Like, that's a comeback. Man. Let me see MMA Island. Like, they must have posted all of Strickland's moments. MMA Island Instagram, full violence. They must have posted everything. I don't think they did. They posted, like, the weakest part. Yeah, they didn't post it. MMA Island posted the main thing about where he was saying, like, Alex, get this man and all that, but there was so many other better moments that they aren't posting about, man, where he really grilled Israel. Full Violence is posting some stuff about, like, he posted stuff about the crowd, Full Violence, but he never mentioned anything. He didn't post anything where Strickland got the better of Adesanya. Like, UFC is posting some stuff, like some basic generic stuff, like... No one's posting the real highlights of the press conference. Other than maybe MMA Junkie, apparently, but I haven't checked. I haven't even got to the other fighters that were on the stage. I need to get back on track. Threatening to beat up the crowd, said he would catch a murder charge. And yeah, Izzy's responses, like... Pereira didn't even talk smack to Israel Adesanya. Pereira said at the start, like, I'm ready to wrestle if Strickland does and stuff like that. And he was staring at Izzy the whole time, like, waiting for him to mention something, I guess, so he could, like, maybe clap back, who knows. But he was just looking at Izzy the whole time at the press conference. But he said he was rooting for Israel to win and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm rooting for him to win. I'm rooting for Adesanya. You could tell because he said Adesanya. That's the common language is the name, of course. And then Israel said, like, I had you on skates last time we fought, and this time I'll leave you frozen like Elsa. Like, it's just so cringe. And I think everyone kind of got exposed to, like, how cringe he is. I'll leave you frozen like Elsa. Like, we're not doing rap bars here. This is just like normal trash talk. Like you and your friends would do to each other back in the day. Like, trash talk each other. Not like, I'll leave you frozen like Elsa. Like, it's like that's like already been used by rappers. And that was such a pre-written line that he chucked out. And if Strickland wasn't there, he may have seemed cool for those lines. But with Strickland there, it was like he pulled off the fucking covers of Israel Adesanya's disguise. Like, I'm the genuine funny guy. You're just a weirdo with your one-liners and stuff like that. And he said something about, have you watched a fight? Have you watched a fight? Now let's get into something else, though. I've talked enough about Strickland, the fat guy in the crowd. And he got up as well, the fat guy. They showed him on camera and it made it way better. And he said, you got a big truck and a dick this big, don't you? This big and all that type of stuff. I can't get over Get Him, Alex. That was so good. But either way, let's circle back. Volk versus Holloway. We got to cover some other moments here. My God, I'm flustered by Strickland there. But either way, let me brace myself. Max is having a bad weight cut. And Volk pointed that out as well. And I know like people are going to like Max for the press conference and stuff like that. Because they're just going to like him anyway because they hate Volk. And people are saying, like, I mean, he ain't wrong. He is 2-0. Like, he did not win the first fight. The second fight was razor close. And I gave it to Volk based on the criteria. But if you watched it live and scored it for Holloway, who cares? It was a razor close fight. You know what I mean? But Max seemed really out of character, aggressive and angry to begin with. He started to calm down afterwards because he realized Volk wasn't kind of playing into it. Volk kind of sunned him with that. Like, it was like, I get it, you know, you're having a rough cut and you're trying to hype yourself up and stuff. I think he even mentioned something in the face-off about that as well. And Max started to calm down a little bit. But Max was like ready to fucking get at him with some lines and stuff like that. And said like, Volk, I'm the guy apparently known to take damage. He's the guy who's known to not deal any damage. Like, he didn't watch his last 2 fights and stuff like that. And then Volk got him back with a good line. Like, Volk said, oh, you're the one who can't spar due to taking damage. Don't come at me with that type of stuff. Like, and then, yeah, Holloway was all jittery and weird. And like, up and then down and calm and happy. And then, 10th Island, baby! Dude, 10th Island, 9th Island, can we get a crowd in the 9th Island? And all of this type of stuff, trying to get the crowd behind him. And it was just a real desperate looking Holloway, I'll be honest. I was kind of like worried, like, am I wrong on my Volk pick here? Holloway did look good in that second fight compared to the first one. Maybe he has made improvements, but I think mentally Volk's kind of got him a bit aggressive and angry. And he was saying like, this dude don't even have 3 highlights to his name. And then Volk was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, you're getting yourself hyped up. Like, the Korean Zombie fight had 3 highlights in it. That one fight. Like, he had a great fight against Mendez, Elkins. Like, he's got good highlights. Even the Holloway fight, he has highlights there. But whatever, the Ortega fight was like a fight full of highlights from Volkanovski, Ortega as well. But Volkanovski too, like, very weird from Holloway, man. It actually made me kind of not like him. I'll be honest with you. It was kind of like a annoying kind of, all right, dude. Like, you were all being respectful, shaking hands before the press conference, but now we're at the press conference. You're all angry and trying to get him with one-liners and stuff like that. It felt kind of forced and playing to the crowd, and the crowd was booing Volk. But as like an objective person, you sit there and you watch and you're like, Holloway's kind of unlikable here. Never saw that side of him before, but he was really like kind of mean and going after Volk. I guess he's angry because he lost twice. I get that, but you know, maybe angry at the decision and it's been bugging him. And now that he's in his weight cut stage and he's on stage in general, he's like, now it's coming out of him how angry he was about the decision and stuff like that. But yeah, Volk told him to calm down and they started having mutual respect again. And then they both started plugging their channels and it became more funny. Like, it got diffused eventually because Volk just didn't bite on it at all and just sort of like, all right, calm down, mate. Done. That's it, done. Hey, that shit don't sit well with me. Done. Make it stop, hey. And then they started shouting out their YouTube channels, and Volk shouted out his cooking show, and Max shouted out his Facebook Live. I don't even know they had Facebook Live, but fair play to Holloway. Facebook gaming streams. I didn't even know about that. But either way, I thought he was on Twitch. I don't know. I assume that's where they would go if they did it. But maybe he's got like a secret deal, or not a secret deal, like a lucrative deal with Facebook to stream on there. But either way, Cannonier had long answers, really long ass answers. He said, I'm going to focus on him, but you know, it's going to be a great fight. And yeah, I'm really looking like it always felt like he was about to be done, and he'd come back with another useless sentence as well, and then you're like, oh, he's done. And then and he'd come out with another thing, and then Izzy was like, keep it short and sweet, which kind of got under Cannonier's skin. And then I didn't know this. People were saying it in my stream, and I was like, did that happen? I don't think that happened the way you guys remember it, but Izzy like snapped at Cannonier. He was really respectful beforehand, but when this is how you know Strickland got under his skin. When Strickland was done fucking publicly humiliating him in front of everyone, Izzy was like, he started snapping at Cannonier. I just watched it back, that moment, just to check. Strickland was like done with him, and after that moment had kind of died down, Izzy all of a sudden real aggressive with Cannonier, and Cannonier started saying some stuff back, and who have you ever had a easy fight against, and all this type of stuff. Like, he all of a sudden was really trash talking to Cannonier, only once he'd been humiliated by Strickland, because he's like, I've got to get a win, I've got to get a W somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I need to get a W from somewhere on this stage, and it ain't happening against Strickland or Pereira, so let me try Cannonier here. And that was weird. Cannonier's had KOs, quick KOs, great wins, and dominant wins. But either way, O'Malley was there. Didn't really fucking do anything, I'll be honest. The crowd was cringe and always getting in frame and doing the stuff that they do. It's kind of annoying that they always do that, but it's going to happen with the crowd. You understand it, you know. But I'm so shocked by Strickland. But O'Malley, he didn't double down on the bet. I think O'Malley, listen, people were always shocked by how boring O'Malley is at a press conference, but at the end of the day, O'Malley isn't a trash talker, and he never really has been. He's kind of had the, I'm undefeated still, and he does some of that stuff, and some of that sort of like jokey stuff, but serious, cringy stuff, and deluded stuff, and stuff like that he does, but he doesn't ever like really diminish his opponent and shit on them and trash talk them. He's usually quite respectful, but he just talks himself up. Like, I'm going to KO him. If I put his lights out, it puts me in a good position. Like, O'Malley isn't really that trash-talking guy, and people are always shocked by that. I know he had his lines against Garbrandt because they had, like, a genuine beef, but he's not going to start randomly beefing Munoz for no reason. They had a pretty intense stare down as well. Strickland was up on his tiptoes for the Pereira stare down and stuff like that. But yeah, O'Malley's not really a trash talker, but it was kind of pointed out how boring he was because he didn't bring anything to the press conference. And if I was him, I wouldn't have even tried either, to be honest with you. I'd have just sat there and said, I ain't beating what Strickland has brought to this press conference. I'm just going to sit back and let it happen. And then Pereira came dressed as Rose Namajunas as well and said some generic, we're going to fight. Are you looking forward to it? Let's go! And all that type of stuff. And Robbie said, yeah, you know, man, it's going to be a great fight for both of us. And with that voice that he has, and really looking forward to it, man. And all that type of stuff. So, that was good. The crowd always respects Lawler and stuff like that. But Sean Strickland, my God, I'm actually worried. I picked Adesanya. I'm worried. I think the odds might change. I think Cannonier could have a better chance now because listen, I'm telling you this right now. If Brian Barberena Lawler's a war, O'Malley and Munoz is a great fight, and let's say O'Malley gets a KO or Munoz gets a crazy upset finish, and it's crazy. And then Pereira Strickland is crazy, and someone gets a finish, a brutal finish, so Pereira will kick, or Strickland chokes him out easy, or Strickland gets a random KO upset, who knows. And then co-main is a war between Holloway and Volk, or there's a finish either way. And then Adesanya's in the main event. After just being publicly humiliated by Strickland at a press conference, he's going to be extra needy to make it entertaining in the fight because he just got shown up in the press conference badly and roasted to smithereens by Strickland. And embarrassed, really, because you know how much he needs to be loved and liked by everyone and how angry it makes him if any criticism comes his way and stuff. Like, he's going to be in his emotions. And if he watches all of them have great performances and shocking moments, he needs to not leg kick at range for 5 rounds. And that's his game. So if he plays out of his game and tries to trade with Cannonier on the aggressive, let's say, be tough. That's gonna be, you could get caught there. You could get put out. So I feel like the odds are going to close up a little bit and have him as less of a favorite after that. If there's any like psychologists looking at it, if psychologists control the odds, they're closing the gap in those odds, I believe. That's how I feel about that press conference. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Fuck McGregor. Fuck Covington. Any other good guy at a press conference there's ever been. Sean Strickland is the new guy on the block at press conferences. That was the best press conference I've ever seen. Amazing stuff. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.